Fanny.
Excuse me, Mr. D.
Is archery like America's fencing? Where only like kind of rich kids
Archery's pretty open in the UK.
Yeah.
You can find a place to do it if you're out in the wilds.
It's one of our great cultural heritages, you say.
Is it?
Yeah, people bow hunt here. Like,
People don't bow
not
hunt here.
rich people.
Yeah,
Also,
the
it's,
longbow.
like, illegal.
You should be going to church every Sunday, and then after church, practicing with the longbow for a minimum of 2 hours, Ian.
Oh yeah.
Would you two please roll initiative?
Yes.
I
see we are live.
Yeah. Oh, piss knickers. My rolls have been awful.
Oh my gosh, I could not find initiative for a hot minute, and that was
+8.
Holy shit, +8.
They'll want to be.
Why is there a Tauren in my initiative order? Get out of here.
I didn't click it.
There just is. Oh, there's not on stream. On my initiative order, there's a stray Tauren. I'm like, what are you doing there, boy? Get out of there.
It's an act of God.
I must say, I'm not able to see the battle map, obviously, because I'm not there. But looking at the stream, looking at that token, that is a bit menacing.
I'm gonna eyeball it now, and then I'm gonna relish in the safety of Amaryllis.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh God.
Belle, you do exactly as you said. You kind of ready your bow, and you see marching through the snow towards you the skeletal, half-decomposed remains of one of the Minotaurs.
Where's freezes during the best moments?
You see
half-decomposed.
Skeletal, half-decomposed remains of one of the Minotaurs defeated in battle.
I told you they were.
Marching with its weapon, a kind of flail mace dragging in the snow behind it, on a chain. Just marching towards you, menacingly.
Kind of looks like a cat sneeze.
What?
Dean, you look like
Belle, it's your turn! Ignore Neil, he's not here.
Okay. I would let loose the arrow and at the same time be like, Richter, and draw another.
Can I just say, next time Dean is not here, we need to make that.
The thing is, every time like Dean's not here, it's a super serious session, and if I put a Dean face like, oh, it's like, and I'm sorry, my lord, but your daughter won't make it. And it's like, I can't do that to myself. I sometimes pretend that this
and have sunglasses drop down and turn it into.
Sometimes I pretend this is a serious career choice, and that I find that really hard. The arrow you let loose hits directly. It like breaks some of the ribs as the Minotaur skeleton kind of staggers back. Its jaw just down, and kind of a smoky poison mist comes out, and then it continues walking after that staggering.
It died in this bitch.
Oh God. The memes this session, the memes.
It marches forward, Richter. This is just like a slow. It's dragging through the snow. The snow is difficult terrain, by the way, because the blizzard is so incredibly intense.
5, 10, 15. And I will launch a hand axe at it. Aiming for the rib, actually, where Balara struck it.
It's a hit.
Oh no, those were its spare ribs.
You are in rare form today, Neil.
Rare ribs.
Rare form. Oh, Jesus
I hope
Christ.
it's rare. I never want to be part of this again. Again, a good hit. Clearly injuring the creature. The axe kind of jamming in where you managed to splinter the bone before. but it doesn't show any sign of slowing. Eyes of piercing green mist through the snow.
No way of knowing.
How tough would it be to climb this rock?
Not too
Because I'm getting the hell
Even
out
in the
of here.
snow?
Nah, not that rock. If you wanted to climb further up the mountain, that would be tougher.
How high is that rock?
5 feet.
Is it taller than the Minotaur?
No.
Okay. Then I would not bother.
But if you wanted to run, like, up the rock slide off the map, you totally could. That's an option.
I wouldn't want to outright fucking ditch Richter is the thing. So
Yep.
I will back up
Do it.
and shoot.
That is a hit.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Zombie
There
stats.
There are straps where the Minotaur armor would remain. And under that, some of the flesh that's remained, but not enough to give it any sort of structural integrity. It takes the arrow, pausing for a moment, its head kind of turning towards Belara, and then it marches.
I wonder who killed this one.
It's actually gonna, like, try and push past Richter. Could you give me an athletics check?
The shove action.
Athletics, sure.
The most coveted action in all of D&D 5e.
Only the smartest people use the shove action, and it's a successful shove, pushing you out of the way as it marches right up.
Fuck's sake.
The sweet smell of the dragon's poison is mixed with the smell of rot. Richter.
I take my longsword in both hands, which I haven't used yet. I actually draw my longsword for the first time and sweep across its ribs again.
Crook.
That's a big hit.
Oh.
Oh yeah, my dude.
Oof.
That's a brutal
And-
strike.
With second wind, I'll swing back the other way.
That's not
Uh,
how
action
second
says-
wind works.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The answer's wrong, but he's got spirit. That's a hit.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant strike. You know, the rib cage shatters more or less at this. At least the side you're kind of facing. You even leave deep scores in the bone of the arm that kind of make it temporarily kind of almost fall out of place. But it doesn't go down. Looking a shell of what it once was. Well, I mean, technically. Bell.
All right. Boop. I'm going to draw my short sword and attack with advantage.
Please do.
She like chucks down her short bow.
That's a hit.
5 minutes later, turns around. She's like, ah, crap. Just snow.
The Minotaur doesn't really move when you kind of both strike it from each side. And then very quickly wheels around and brings the mace down towards Richter.
I feel like I should point out that should have had sneak attack.
Oh, yeah. Can I roll my sneak attack? Is that
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
Thank you. I fucking always forget.
It's only a little bit important. Richter, what's your AC?
18.
It hits exactly an 18.
What the-
And is going to swing down on you for... I always roll off the table. I'm so bad. 6 bludgeoning damage.
Got bludgeoned.
Got bludgeoned.
You got bludgeoned.
Richter.
Rick
And then
Tor.
after that, it kind of shifts down slightly, as it doesn't really have the protection of the rib cage. its sharp bone horns gleaming in the light that travels through the blizzard.
Couldn't say horny bones. Had to say bone horns.
Sorry. If you want to get boned by a Minotaur skeleton, we can discuss that after the show.
Oh, jeez.
Richter.
That's an interesting first.
I will strike again with advantage with my longsword in both hands.
I feel like I should point out that that's a one-handed longsword attack, not a two-handed. Because there is a mechanical difference.
Yes, you do have a
Oh
bigger
yeah, I should have
damage
rolled a
dice.
1d10.
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
just
you can
roll
do that
one.
next time. Well, this time, because you hit. Yeah,
Plus.
it's fine. It's only really good. That strike with the new repositioning of the Minotaur skeleton is a little off. A little weak. Not enough to bring it down.
And that will do.
Well,
If I try to stab it, like sever its head, like stab it right in
Mhm.
the spinal cord, do I have to roll at disadvantage for aiming?
no, there's no aim mechanic in D&D.
Okay.
You just flavor it. It's a hit. And with that one sneak attack damage, it is actually a kill.
Nice.
As you can wedge your short sword in the spine by the head.
Yeah, I imagine Richter just sees it like going to swing, and then it freezes, and then its head like falls forward.
Yeah, it is
My
going
sword is just
to
there.
gore Richter with its horns, and it gets like almost up there, and then the head kind of seizes, and then the whole thing crunches and falls apart.
You hurt?
I'm fine.
Fine enough to herd these sheep and goats home. Good.
You seem to know it was there. Why didn't you say anything?
The snow plays tricks on the senses, Richter. I didn't want to cause alarm if there was nothing there.
We are allies. If you think something, if you feel something, we share those thoughts and feelings. We're one and the same out here.
We're one and the same, except I'm better out here. I mean, no disrespect, but this is my element. It's easy to panic, and panic breeds stupidity. I apologize. I'll let you
Fine.
know in the future if you can promise to keep your cool.
Fine.
And then I would note the way that the snow is like kind of cementing the cracks in the rocks. And I'd be like, do you think we could build a wall like this? To protect from the wind?
For as long as it remains cold. Of course.
Well, we only need it for as long as it remains cold. I'm thinking of the rudimentary shelters that we've built back home.
I would imagine it's doable, given the right amount of hands.
Do you think it's worth the energy?
I'm not sure.
We'll bring it up with your father.
Yes.
All right, let's get your brothers and sisters.
Is that the sheep?
Yeah,
I like
she's
that.
calling him a farm animal.
I get it. I get it. I like it. Very funny. um, yeah, you can start leading them the lost sheep and goat, sheep's and goat's, back through the snowstorm. It's intense, a little difficult, a little slow. You can get it. You can bring them back to the village, and to the warmth of the lodge and surrounding area.
I'll take a look at the most battered homes, I suppose you would say, to see if Balara's idea holds any.
You can give me an intelligence
What?
check. You've got no archaeology degree check, sadly. Archaeology, architecture, same thing, really. Just time. I mean, there are, odd stone walls around, and you don't really use cement or anything. When it's not part of a building, there's a particular way of stacking stones that is proven quite strong, surprisingly, especially in the snow. You don't know the specifics of it, but someone probably does.
All right. Well, I will essentially regurgitate what Balara said to Oscar, or as some would call him, my character's dad. So I probably shouldn't call him Oscar.
Is Richter
Call
the
him
kind of
Oscar.
person to call him by name, though?
Dean can call him Oscar.
Yeah, that's
Richter
true.
oughtn't.
On.
That word. Never mind.
It
Yeah,
would be a lot of work, especially unlikely in this storm. But we
Yes.
can just take rocks from the mountainside. It wouldn't protect us much from a dragon, but if the Minotaur attack again, would be a worthy use of all our time, I think. When the storms died down, I'll see what hands would be willing to help.
Okay. I think we found a fair few livestock.
When times are more favorable. Well, let's just say this village needs a whole lot of breeding going on. And he kind of does a strong arm pat. Regardless, the wall is a good idea. Gathering the stone might be dangerous. That sounds foolish, but under a small rock you might find bugs, maybe a mole. But under large rocks by the mountainside you can find any beast. I'm sure your tree will tell you that. And I do want a lot of you overseeing this gnomish plant growth. If we are to grow it in the mines, there's always been the stray animal down in those caves in the best of times. I am willing to bet that something is dwelling in there now.
Sir, when we were out looking for livestock, we were attacked by the skeleton of a minotaur.
That is indeed worrying.
Yes.
It seems even the bodies of our enemies must be treated with great respect so that they do not rise again against us.
I know working hands are few and far between right now, but we need eyes. More eyes. At least right now, during the storm. If
No.
you allow me to give my opinion.
You are seeing everything that is happening far more plainly than I hear. What you see is of great value to me, boy. I will encourage more scouts. Anyone can stand high and look out and, look what they see.
As painful as she is to the intelligence of all she interacts with, Lara may be the best person to teach these would-be scouts a thing or two.
You are incredibly hard on that young woman.
I think I'm incredibly fair. And I smile at my dad.
He doesn't smile back, but he doesn't smile much. And just gives you a nod after a pause and will go to find Belle, walking through the village in the snow with a big furry cloak.
Belle gets on well with Oscar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, he likes you.
You tell me.
When he finds you, he will say that, "My darling boy tells me you encountered the roving dead."
Aye, a minotaur. Rotted.
That gives me great concern. I'm sure Torin will be able to see what the spirits say about this, but you have keen eyes.
Aye.
It would do us well if you could teach some of the youths who have nothing else to do how they can see for us.
I can't promise to bless them with better vision, but I can show them what to look for.
That is much more important. You are not some elf that can see through time. We are all just people here. He kind of looks towards a tree in the distance when he says that.
May not be Amaryllis. That
Yeah. Who knows? It's very snowy.
Yeah.
You say just people. I say we are people.
For better or worse, there are things in this world that are very different from people.
Aye. I'll have my dad make more arrows.
That is wise.
Do we have a boyer?
It's probably just a thing he does. And people, like, you would probably make your own arrows every now and again and work on your bows, you know?
Okay, so do you think Griff would be
Griff
good
can
at
do
making...
it, yeah.
Okay. I'd probably more bows and torches. There's a lot we're going to have to ask of him while he's weakened. I'm going to ask that he be provisioned well and looked after well.
That is possible. That is more than fair. He has always had a hard lot in life, although sometimes he does bring it upon himself. He did not bring it upon him to have a roof fall on him. He's made of hard stuff.
He needs the drink.
It is unfortunate. Maybe come the next year we'll be able to build him a still.
You don't understand. He gets sick.
I understand.
Scary sick.
I have seen people I love suffer illness that I barely understand. At least you understand this.
Just if there's anything that you can do in that regard, you'd have my sincerest gratitude.
We'll make sure that he is looked after when you are away. At the very least. And he will.
I'll go speak to him now. I'll get bows and arrows made. You round up my scouts.
And he will do so. Griff is, I wouldn't say more than happy to work on making bows and arrows, but like Torin said, it kind of is the thing that can keep his hands busy. You know, just whittling arrow shafts and things. Even because these are for like young scouts, even fully wooden arrows that aren't really good for warfare, but for scaring something away, he might not entirely admit it, but he appreciates having something to keep his hands busy and to do. While all of this is there, what are Torin and Amaryllis doing today in the snowstorm?
Torrent's biggest concern at the moment is were he aware of what one was, the ticking time bomb in the village. The corruption hasn't hit, but it's possible that the corruption will seep into the village, at which point we have a whole graveyard full of people, which is literally just asking for it. However, he's not certain how to proceed with it. So where they're not rushing. He might speak to Amaryllis, see whether she has any ideas, because she's lived in a forest for a long time. She understands the flow of water. Presumably has lived in a forest. She's a tree. Maybe Torrent's being racist.
Like a little bit.
She understands the flow of water. She has roots. She understands water tables more than Torrent ever will, that sort of thing. So he might ask her to accompany him up the hill to the graveyard and consider the issue.
Yeah, she wasn't. I didn't have anything else for her to be doing, so she would absolutely be happy to help with that. Because she also like as a general thing wants to sort of start getting an idea of the river's poisoning. So I guess this could be a sort of a bit of a lead into that as well.
Yeah. Why don't you both give me nature checks or one with advantage for this? I get it. Made it just intelligence before, but nature is a bit smarter.
Do you want me to take advantage? I have a +4.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
I wonder where Neil's rolling.
When you want Ian to roll instead of Neil, that's we're in Bizarro land. When you get up there, of course, to Torin, you see a little bit of simple gravestones and snow, and the uncomfortable place where bodies are being kind of stored. They're wrapped, but they're not buried, just coated in snow, which kind of probably pulls a twinge on Torin's heart. It's Amaryllis who kind of, again, focuses, sees not entirely with her eyes. You believe this place, with the protection that the spirits can grant, should be safe from the corruption of the water. Water would flow down through this area. That being said, you don't entirely understand how this corruption animates bodies and interacts with things, but for the most part, it's probably fine. Always something to be wary of. Maybe they might want to keep a guard or you know, literally a grave watchman, just for many reasons. But if they were aware that undead exist, which not everyone is, that would be quite wise. You also do think of the Minotaur that were killed in the battle, and there was like 3 or 4 of them, are probably more likely to animate, because in your experience, undead are either animated coldly, which is more what the corruption is doing, just causing the bodies to move, or with emotion. And an enemy defeated in battle with the corruption, with the weather, with everything, is very likely to get up and move again.
Yeah,
Where were we?
Amaryllis would explain this by way of saying, the blessings of the spirit of your spirits that you can grant this place should be enough to, combined with the fact it is high ground, should prevent people rising. Although someone keeping watch would not go amiss. The greater concern would be those that fell in battle. The Minotaur in particular. Strong emotions and resentment breed discontent in spirits. They would be more likely to return.
Right. Okay. Where did we bury the mine or keep?
Just like down the hill in holes, or just kind of they were just kind of dumped because there are more things to concern yourselves about. Before that, sending a prayer on every single gravestone is impractical. With
Funeral
no real
rites
full
also
church.
only last 7 days.
What you could do instead is build a shrine to the god of undeath, Ing, to protect this place. That would require something that would have a spiritual importance to that spirit. Ing is the god of undeath and the sea. They're a kraken, right? Your people are actually have a vague, a bit more understanding of Ing than most because you're supposedly the first settlers were Ing cursed, coming across the seas to this strange place. Now, as like many minor gods of death, there's the protection against undeath as well as kind of the using of necromancy. So a shrine to Ing here, in one way or another, it doesn't have to be a big kraken statue, but in some way would be essentially funeral rites for the whole place, right? More or less. That's another way of doing it. How you would make that shrine actually have a kind of spiritual power? Currently unsure. Haven't designed that quest yet. But if you have ideas, throw them at me when you're ready.
So this is Ing.
Ing.
Not Inkiri, the protection.
Inkiri is also a good idea, but specifically a mass graveyard. You will want the god of death.
It's Ing.
Yeah.
It's
not really seen as an evil spirit, more just like the inevitability of death, you know.
Well, the first thing I'm thinking is the symbolic protection is ignoring the actual body of the shrine for the moment, which will be at one end of the graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
If we could ask people, presumably there is an older person who is unable to do much else but would be skilled at this, to weave. If you weave a long ass, so you know, like
a long ass, my favorite.
You stick sticks in the ground, and then you weave in between them. But instead of just the standard weave to create like a weave wall, you would weave tentacles.
Yeah.
So you could have a standard weave wall, but with a tentacle at the base.
Yeah.
Which is symbolic and religiously powerful, therefore, because of the protection of Ing surrounding the place.
That's exactly the idea I was going for. I kind of want to. So you know what that means? Quest is to kill a squid or a octopus or something,
and then cover it in ink.
Yeah. You're gonna need to do that. Good to-do list.
Okay. All right.
Find something of Ing's realm. But, more importantly, the body is currently roaming.
Torrin would either ask Oscar to get someone to do this or do it himself. He'd dig up the Minotaur bodies and burn them.
You go over that way. It's quite an eerie sight at the bottom of the hill in the snow. The very bare bones, burial that was given the 4 dead Minotaur. I'm just going to say there's 4. At least are buried here. they're just empty spaces of earth, upturned in the snow.
Tara's gonna run. Tell Oscar that there's at least 4 other risen creatures around.
All right, you run to Oscar. He's out doing his best Night Watts impression.
Oscar.
Real quick. So sorry. Just while all this is going on, Balara would have headed to Liha to translate the Moss instructions.
Sure.
Carry on. Sorry.
Oscar. Well, when I was in the gnome's place, I met some corrupted people. They were risen from the dead, it seems. And I was worried about that for the graveyard. I thought I'd check on the Minotaur bodies we buried, and all the graves are empty. All of them.
Richter and Balara have already seen one, and they felt that. That is worrying. It means there are 3 more roaming.
Well, I don't know what we could do, but it seems like it'd be a good idea to keep villagers from straying too far or on their own.
Close.
And wouldn't know where to get a squid or an octopus. It's related.
The river.
Now, I know that at certain times of year, squid travel to the surface waters in mass numbers to breed.
Yes.
What time of year is it now?
It's just late autumn.
Sexy time. Of
I don't
the
know
year.
when. I don't know when squid sexy time is. I'm sorry.
Uh,
I failed you.
This is one of those moments that's like the weirdest thing that someone has ever had to look up for D&D purposes.
you can
No,
give
well-
me a nature or religion check to kind of know how much you would know. You know.
I'm gonna give you a religion check. Turns out I
I know
got a-
exactly
okay.
where the squid
Turns
are.
out, yeah, if you go down, well, you kind of got 2 mentalities. Going downriver further, the squid and servants of ink, so octopus, squid, weird in-betweeny things, minor krakens, very minor.
Please don't call them that.
They do go upriver occasionally, and there's also river squid and stuff in a world like this. If you go downriver far enough to... I mean, if you go all the way to the town at the bottom, it would be as simple as... You figure buying a squid from, like, a fisherman would not be the right spiritual thing to do, but just hunting would be possible. But I'm not sure if you want to do that. Going downriver, yeah, there's a chance to find, a den or something, or a place that... Because octopuses are quite intelligent. They actually do make little shelters and things. Especially minor krakens. Your other thought, of 3 thoughts, you have 3 thoughts. 1, they're done. 2, you've seen Gwaelings hunting this, like, squids and octopus before. It's apparently a favorite food of theirs. And they're upriver, so they definitely know how to get them. 3rd thought, if you go far enough in the cracks in the mountains, you sometimes find underground places filled with water. And it's entirely possible there's some sort of cave octopus that would be, because of the darkness,
Cave
very
kraken.
fitting. Craven Kraken. Very fitting as a...
That gives me the heebie-jeebies a little bit. The thought of, like, just sticking your arm in this dark water, you don't know what's in there, and you just feel something wrapped round.
Yep.
Oh,
That's how I caught my first wife.
Caught.
Yep.
Ollie now wears her skin.
I now wear a police anklet.
I think, honestly, as much as I hate to say it, the caves sound like a good idea because the mountains are near.
Yeah, and
And-
I mean your mine. Most people here kind of go by the Minecraft mentality. At least I do. They don't go and just dig into a mountain. There is a cave, and it's like, oh, there's shiny rock, and you keep it kind of exploring and then digging in. Your mine most likely goes into further caves, but it's also more in the mountain and such. If you follow the guide of the spirits.
Well, we know that we need to go in there to deal with any creatures that might be in there to make it safe for farmers.
Creepy crawlies.
Creepy crawlies. So we can do two octopuses with one
Smite.
Octopus.
smite. Nice, I
Oh.
like it. I feel kind of bad. I don't want to kill it.
We can
Just
maybe
not-
make a container for it to
I
live
want to
in.
ask it for its little help friends. They're so smart. Yeah, and
I
if
have
you,
speak with animals. If we
put it in like a box of water,
If you make like a pond for it or something. on top of
Yeah.
a hill. That's a
Yes.
That would be a good.
I
You
don't
know,
want to.
your kind of religion totally understands that you have to be a part of nature. You have to kill. But that would be a very powerful
but
blessing.
it's undeath.
Exactly. Yeah. If you don't kill
Yeah.
your avatar of death and
That's
make like a
even
little
more
pond,
symbolic.
little enclosure up here, it's also bringing more nature into your world and a part of nature that's often shirked away from, but just important. No. Could
Torrent's
be
gonna
good.
do it then. He's gonna go
He's
and
gonna do the octopus.
It is that time of year.
Torrent
They're
will ask
looking
for
particularly
Amaryllis's help
sexy.
again.
Yeah, Amaryllis is gonna go.
We'll make a lovely rock pool for this octopus to live in at the top of the graveyard, but we'll have to have it semi-covered to protect
Yeah.
it from some of the elements.
I mean, it's a shrine.
Yeah.
It's like a shrine, like a semi-covered pond. Makes sense. All right, you can start digging.
I got digging.
I mean, while you translate the gnomish with Lehar.
Can we call them gnomes from now on?
I
forever?
like calling them gnomes.
Me too.
Myself. And that's an evening. What's Richter doing after he complained about Balara again to his dad?
He just doesn't know how to flirt, the poor kid.
He doesn't. wanna
I
flirt with
complimented her actually.
Yeah, but it was like
It was a-
backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
So what? She was a jack.
It was like, oh yeah, Dean looks really young because he can't grow a beard. It's so young, so youthful.
Thank you.
I don't think she was a jerk to you at all.
She's always a jag.
She was a bit. What would Rita be doing on the night?
You
He's
would
reading-
note that, Amaryllis and Torrent aren't about.
He's reading a book to his mum.
Aww.
Yeah, Blarry, you little cunt. Richter's nice.
And then he
You're-
drove his spear into the. Mum, do I have to read this part?
You're
Nods
there
eagerly in bed.
in the chamber, in your mum's room in your house, and your house, Oscar's house, is barely injured by the battles because it was made to be almost a fort. You're there reading, and you feel a chill wind enter the building, and you look, and it's the drafts of the sort of window covers have blown open, allowing the snow to come in and some such. It's aggressive and spooky, but just nature. Can you give me a perception check?
Hang on, let me just finish reading this page.
A Minotaur is about to come through. and bone you.
Oh yeah, brother.
He comes to him and he's like, I've read this fucking book. It's shit. Stop. Oh, come on.
Richter's like, all right, don't be such a grumpy cat.
Grumpy cat.
Literally, Ollie like took psychic damage for that one. Then like rolled back. He's like, ah.
Oh, I
Took
did.
direct life point damage.
I use pot of greed.
I really like Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually, as a card game.
I like the first couple of series of anime as well.
I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D was good.
Pot of greed. I like the one in the school because I like the idea of a school that existed entirely for card games.
Yeah, I saw a bit.
It was a cool idea.
Yeah, I agree.
You're all dorks.
Yes.
Shut up, Blair, you idiot.
You go to close the window and make sure that everything is nice and cozy for your mother. And a Minotaur hammer smashes through the timber of the window into you. Going to deal... You manage to kind of roll with it, taking 5 bludgeoning damage from that.
It's Johnny.
As the Minotaur does literally, after that, just start pushing its way through the window the best it can, breaking the wood of it and pushing the stone.
When you said it, you look at the window, I had a vision of Richter looking back and a Minotaur in like a little nightcap hiding in the bed pretending to be my mom. Richter, close the window.
That made me snort juice out of my nose, by the way.
Mother,
Super
what
gross.
big horns you had.
That proper just like that caught me properly off guard. I proper snort.
I was drinking and it went up with you.
Mother, you must eat more, your skin and bone.
You know what? We're taking a break.
Oh dear.
Now I feel like the Minotaur's method acting.
I have 7 hit points.
Yeah, you're gonna get fucking wrecked. Son. That's
Welcome
what you
to
get.
my world.